positive for COVID-19. The positive result comes 2 days after the Bidens traveled to Delaware from Florida, where they visited communities impacted by Hurricane Idalia.
Concerns are growing about COVID cases as the number of people testing positive in hospitals appears to be ticking up. According to new numbers from the CDC, COVID hospitalizations have increased 12% in the week ending July 22nd compared to the week before. ABC News medical contributor Dr. John Brownstein joins me now to break this all down. Dr. Brownstein, can you put these numbers into perspective? Because the CDC and other health agencies, they're no longer tracking COVID cases. The focus is now on hospitalization trends, which experts say is more meaningful. So what do you make of this increase? And is this people going to the hospital because of COVID or just testing positive while they're there, maybe unrelated?
Has tested negative. I want to bring in CBS News Chief White House Correspondent Nancy Cordes. Nancy, good morning.
Good morning. Never a great day when we have to report someone testing positive for COVID. But right now, the First Lady is isolating at their beach house in Rehoboth, Delaware, as a precaution. And luckily, as you mentioned, Wendy, her case right now appears to be mild. The president is back here at the White House. He was tested last night. He tested negative. He'll continue to be tested in the days to come, we're told. And we last saw the First Lady on Saturday when she joined her husband on that trip to Florida to tour storm damage from Hurricane Idalia. She was actually supposed to start teaching this week. Fall classes begin at a local community college where she has been teaching for the last few years. Instead, her aides say she is going to be replaced temporarily with a substitute. The president, as you may recall, has had COVID once before, last July. He'll have to be tested routinely this week because he's slated to leave in just 3 days for a pair of summits in India and Vietnam. So everyone really hoping that that trip is still able to go off okay. The First Lady's diagnosis, of course, comes amid a spike in COVID cases across the country. According to the CDC, COVID hospitalizations were up nearly 19% in 1 week in mid-August, and that's thanks in part to the emergence of new variants. Aides say the First Lady is doing okay. She's currently up to date, of course, on her shots and boosters, and they're hoping that she'll be able to be back here in Washington and teaching as soon as possible. Wendy?
So the president's trip to India and the other summit for the group of 20 summit leaders, that first one in India, could be in jeopardy at all? Or have we heard anything from the White House?
I mean, as long as he continues to test negative and as long as the First Lady's case continues to be mild, then everything should be okay. But obviously, if there's any sign that he has symptoms, then that trip that has been in the works for months would have to be scrapped. Likely there would be other high-level U.S. officials that would attend in his stead, but obviously this is something that he very much wants to do. So they'll be keeping a close eye on him. The White House physician will be monitoring for any symptoms, and you know, they'll given the time frame and the incubation, they will likely have to continue to test him not just for the next few days, but even if he does go on the trip, they'll have to continue to test him while he's there.
We'll be watching. Nancy, thank you.
You're welcome.